he's hit this one, Miles. Great shot. Oh, it's a biggie. Straight over the top. The little man has hit the big fella for 6. He's off his size. And he's smashed him down the ground. What a player. What a wonderful player.
The cricket nuts.
You are listening to the Cricket Nuts, a podcast where we sit down and talk about a host of issues around cricket, the sport we all live and love. You should expect our views to be passionate, honest, emotional, and adequately analytical. On this show, you will hear Jay, Uday, and myself, Bishen, a motley crew from the fields of law, hospitality, and marketing, thrash it out on our common passion.
Hi everyone, the Cricket Nuts are back. This is our 6th episode now, and today we'll be talking about whatever you want to call it, Mankading, Browning, the non-striker run out, whatever you want to call it. So we will discuss today the fairness of it, whether we think the solution that's in place today is adequate, and we'll generally also chat about other rules in cricket and things that we'd like to see changed possibly. So to get this going, maybe let's start talking about whether we think the Mankading rule or the non-striker run-out rule in its current form is fair on first principles. Is it fair? Is it not fair? JD, what do you think?
In my opinion, it's 100% fair. To be really honest, I completely want to call it as a run-out at non-striker's end to start with. Maybe avoid the entire mankading. I know that a lot of folks refer to as mankading, but I think it's a little insensitive to the legend Mankad itself. So maybe you can call it a run out at the non-striker.
Sunil Gavaskar wanted to call it Browning.
Browning.
Because the batsman was Brown. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bill Brown, no? Bill Brown was the
batsman. But I think, if you ask me, it's absolutely fair. In fact, I don't even think we should get into a question of whether it's fair or not, isn't it? But that's for another. As we get into the discussion, we'll debate about it. Is what I think.
Uday, what do you think? Fair, not fair?
When I was reading about this rule, I understand that from March of this year, the MCC, who's, as we all know, the body in charge of making the rules for cricket, they've clearly moved the rule from the provision where it was part of the unfair play section to the normal run out law 38. So it's very when the rules of cricket itself clearly describe that it's an unfair that it's absolutely fair. I don't see why many players have a problem when the run out happens. I think JD makes a good point about the name of Mankad not being used, and despite that being reminded to many commentators, I still hear many commentators going on calling it a Mankad. It's quite annoying, to be honest. But when the rule itself is, the ICC and the MCC are very clearly.
We are discussing whether we think that what ICC and MCC have done, ICC mainly here, is fair or not.
Yeah. Of course. So when the review is done and they very clearly moved it to the fair system, I don't think there should be any debate about it. And the fact that, I know you have another interesting view on this, Bishen, but the fact that a batsman gets that leeway when at the non-striker's end when he's starting off, I think a bowler who's aware of that and gets him run out should be rewarded for the dismissal than making it sound like as if he's some kind of villain. So in my opinion, absolutely fair.
And I would like to hear Bishen's thoughts because why in the first place was it in the unfair section in the rule book? I never quite understood why exactly it was in the unfair section.
No, but so I don't think anything has changed by moving it from the unfair play section to the run out section. The law hasn't changed. It was always possible to run the batsman out in that manner, but I suppose it's not the conventional understanding of what a run out is, because he wasn't dismissed in the process of trying to take a run, right? He was dismissed before the ball was even bowled, and therefore it's not traditionally a run out, right? So I suppose it makes sense why it wasn't in the run out section, because you only try to run after the ball has been played. Here the ball has not even been played, so how can you be run out? I suppose that's why it wasn't in the
run out section. That the non-striker is showing is to run, right? But the intention that the non-striker is showing by taking that additional yards is to run, right?
Yeah,
He's
no,
not
no.
taking an additional
Absolutely.
So I'm not
yards
saying
just to
that
relax.
I'm not saying that it's wrong that it's in the run-out section. You asked the question, why wasn't it there in the first place?
Okay.
I'm answering why
Okay.
wasn't it there in the first place? Because
Bishen,
traditionally a
Got it.
run is after the ball has been hit. Here the ball is not even been hit.
Got
but
it.
from the reading I did, I'm not sure whether you read this, Bishen. From the reading I did, it was apparently in the law 41, in law 41, which
Yeah.
pertains to unfair dismissals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct.
I think JD's question is more as to why was it in the first place in the unfair
Exactly.
dismissals itself. I mean, it
Yeah.
should ideally never have been in the unfair dismissals, but for whatever reason, till March of this year. So what we're saying is when Ashwin actually ran out Butler in the IPL, it was actually an unfair dismissal because as per the MCC rule, it is part of the unfair dismissal provision. So
No, but that
it's
doesn't mean it's not unfair dismissal. Is not that you cannot dismiss the batsman. Even
no,
then you could dismiss the batsman.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. No, but then see, if you put something in an unfair dismissal provision, a bowler who does it obviously becomes a villain, right? Because
No, but
Exactly.
that's not
you
what
get-
it means. No, the meaning of it never was that it's unfair for you to dismiss the batsman in that way.
Oh,
That
okay.
was never the meaning.
Oh, okay.
That's not what
Okay,
unfair
okay.
dismissal means. It's just that
Oh,
it's in a section of unfair play. And the unfair
Okay.
play is by the batsman here. So it was always a legitimate mode of getting a batsman out.
oh, okay.
Okay.
I understand.
It's just been
well,
reclassified into the run-out section. That's all.
okay. I'm
It
glad
was
you
always
clarified that.
legitimate.
Okay.
So is everyone's interpretation the same that the unfair
Not sure.
is here the batsman or not the bowler? Because like
I
all
don't think so.
cricketers
I don't think so.
seem to talk, they all think that it's a very unfair, and
Yeah.
against the spirit that
Correct. But
this
that was
run-out is.
always when people like James Anderson and Stuart Broad are talking about it on the internet, they are not interpreting the MCC rules for you. They are just saying that it's not in the spirit of the
personal.
game. They are not reading the section and saying it says unfair there, who is unfair. That's not what they're talking about. They're saying it's not in the spirit of the game. And the whole question only comes up because the law always said that it is out. Now they have
Right.
moved it from the unfair play section into the run-out section, making it more mainstream, right? And making it a legitimate mode of dismissal in the way that any other mode of dismissal are, like court,
glad you
hold,
clarified that.
LBW, whatever it is. That's
That's
all has
good. I'm glad
happened.
you
Nothing has
clarified.
happened substantially.
I'm glad you clarified that because I'm sure, like JD and me and many other viewers, probably are thinking, why is it in the unfair section? And now that you clarify, the unfairness is more about the non-striker leaving his ground. I'm glad that is the actual interpretation of how the rule was, because it wasn't my understanding of it. So thanks for that.
So on basic principles, for me, we are of course talking about what is fair, what is not fair on first principles alone. And for me, it's very clear that it's unfair in that on the simple point that a batsman should not be allowed to gain an unfair advantage in trying to get a run. Runouts happen with a margin of 1 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches. So batsman getting out is an unfair advantage. So he needs to be penalized. So
absolutely,
is it fair to penalize him? It is fair to penalize him. But I think we can from here. So I think all of us are broadly on the same page in that the batsman doesn't deserve that advantage, right? And therefore the question of spirit of the game, what people talk about, is not relevant here. In that we think a batsman should be penalized for that action.
Right.
I think the issue comes when the gravity of whatever the proportionality of the punishment being imposed on the batsman is not commensurate with the gravity of the offense he is committed, which is why this spirit of the game question comes. I don't think if you ask any of these guys who are past cricketers online who are saying that it's not in the spirit of the game, if you ask them, are you saying the batsman is correct in getting out of the crease? I don't think anybody will say yes, he is correct. I think everybody will agree that the batsman is wrong, but everybody is still objecting. Why are they objecting? They are objecting because they feel that the punishment that's being imposed on the batsman is too grave. In my opinion, that's why they're objecting, right? He doesn't deserve to be out for doing something so small, right? Now, all of us here agree that he should be punished. Let's move into the next question of whether the current punishment that is available, is that fair? Is dismissal of the batsman fair? I'll share my view. I don't think, I think the correct solution over here is to treat this as an offense in a way that is similar to, say, a no ball, where the bowler oversteps the crease, right? You don't tell him to stop bowling and go home, right? You give the other team 1 run and continue with the match. Similarly, batsman gets a 1 inch, 2 inch advantage. He deserves to be punished. But my view is, if the punishment was imposing penalty runs, I don't think the world would object to it. There would be no question of spirit of the game. That's my view. The punishment should not be dismissing a batsman, it should be imposing penalty runs. Happy to hear what you guys have to say.
I think what you're saying is in line with what Ashwin said some time ago, where he said there should be a free ball concept, wherein if but the only difference between what you're saying and what he said is, he said in addition to the batsman being dismissed, the batting team gets a 10-run penalty and a free ball, like a free hit for the batting team when a bowler bowls a no ball.
But what is the free ball? There's no ball being bowled, it's just runs being given, right?
He says, the free ball concept that he came up with is the batsman gets dismissed, and as well as there's a 10-run penalty imposed. There is no ball really.
There's no ball,
but it's just called a free ball because there's a 10-run penalty.
Yeah, so there is a concept of penalty runs in cricket which are given in various situations. For example, when fake fielding happens, there is a penalty that's given, which is the umpire signal like this and give the 5 runs, right? So this could be a situation where I think batsman should be punished, but how should he be punished? I think it's penalty runs. JD?
Yeah, I mean, see, to actually go back to your point where you said that, just like a no ball, it's a very interesting example. But the way that I look at it is, when the bowler is bowling, right, he's not intentionally bowling a no ball. Right? Yeah. But when the non-striker is actually taking a few yards, he's intentionally doing it. So it's I'm not sure if that's the right example. And that is why I feel that it is absolutely legit for a bowler, to run him out or run her out, at the non-striker's end. And in fact, I would also probably get into the mode of, maybe, we should penalize beyond that also, right? Because the problem is not all bowlers do it, but which sometimes batsmen do take that, as an advantage. So if in case we have to stop the root cause of the issue, which is, the batsman not leaving or the batter not leaving the ground, then irrespective of the whether, the bowler runs that person out or not, there should be a penalization, right? So we need to get in the heads of every single player to play the game in such a way that they don't, take undue advantage of taking a few steps ahead. Now,
sorry, I'm gonna. Sorry if I interrupt. So what are you saying? Do you agree with the dismissal, or do you, as Bishen said, do you think?
No, I completely agree with the dismissal. And in fact, I'm saying that, it should be just because the bowlers don't do it. Like, for example, we saw that in the Pakistan-Zimbabwe game, right? We saw how, I think it was, I forgot the, non-striker, when there was 3 runs to win in the last ball, the non-striker was like nearly, 20-30% away from the crease, right? So if, Sikandar Raja had actually thrown at the bowler's end, they would have actually got the 2 runs, right? Yeah. So because, not all bowlers do it, right? Maybe we should have a concept where, they get penalized automatically. And if bowlers do it, they get out also, right? So we actually nip the bud.
JD and Bishen can probably validate this. In the years of when I was researching about this, in all the years of cricket, there have only been 4 instances of tests when this has happened, 4 instances in ODIs where it's happened, 1 instance in T20 international where it's happened, and once in women's ODI and women's T20s. That's how seldom these dismissals have happened in international cricket. Mainly because the stigma associated with the dismissal. I mean, I'm sure you guys must have seen the interview of the captains before the World Cup, where a journalist just decided to be a little mischievous and asked this question where, will you guys do it? And nobody is even sticking out and saying, yes, we will. Everyone's like looking at each other and quiet. Not a single captain actually is going out there and saying, yeah, I'm going to do it, because he fears the backlash, right? He's scared of, oh God, okay, I might be painted out as being some kind of a villain for encouraging this. So it's only Harmanpreet during that game who came out and said, yes, I back my player. Otherwise, most of the captains quite hesitant.
Just to reiterate
Sorry,
though,
yeah,
no, I'm with
yeah,
you.
yeah.
In comparing it with a no ball, JD's point I think is quite valid in that a no ball is unintentional, while stepping out
Yeah.
of the crease more often than not is intentional, right? But which is why the penalty for a no ball is 1 run, whereas penalty runs awarded for things like this in cricket is 5 runs, right? It's 5 times that of a no ball. You're not punishing him equally to a no ball, but you're punishing him at 5 times of overstepping, right? Now, for me, that is
But Bishen,
proportionate.
sorry, Bishen.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Bishen. I mean, but in a limited overs game, while it's 1 run, you're still giving the batsman a free hit, right? And he can actually, and he can't be dismissed of the next ball. So it is a pretty substantial thing, right? Like he can if he hits a six, it becomes a huge advantage for them in any case, right? The no ball.
Yeah. No. So what's your point? In this
No, my
case,
point
also
is
the
you
batting team
said
getting 5 runs. Batting team will
no.
get five
So I'm
runs and
saying
another ball anyway. I mean, the regular
no.
ball.
The reason I'm saying that is you said the what they get penalized with is 1 run. So but it can be 1 run, but the next ball the bowler is losing the opportunity of getting the batsman out,
Yeah.
right? So that is a I mean for just a very dismiss something where he's not doing it on purpose, like JD said, he's stepping over the line
Yeah.
inadvertently. You're still getting penalized, wherein the next ball is basically a nothing ball for him unless the guy gets run out, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, we
no
can
ball
figure out
also,
the number of runs there, but the point is
yeah.
not 5. Give 10 runs, penalty runs if you want. But I think the idea that I'm trying to convey is taking the batsman out of the game for that is disproportionate in my view, and in some cases it does not even serve the purpose, because in this the example that JD was talking about, the Zimbabwe Pakistan match, when there was last ball and 3 runs to win, right? If there was only 1 wicket left, if Zimbabwe were 9, Pakistan were 9 down, then Mohammad Wasim, who was the non-striker, would not have taken a chance to run, because if he was run out, the match is over there. But they had 3 wickets left or 4 wickets left, whatever it was, right? So he may as well take a chance and run. And if he is dismissed, the team doesn't lose at all, because somebody else will come and run in his place over there. The team has lost nothing in this current mechanism where you only get dismissed. Whereas if you have put in 5 run or 10 run penalty over there with 1 ball left and 3 runs to win, suddenly you do the kind of nonsense Mohammad Wasim did, and you get a -5. It suddenly becomes 8 runs to win off the last ball, which is impossible. You guarantee he will stay inside his crease, because in situations like that, it's the run penalty which is a bigger deterrent than the wicket, because over there, if Mohammad Wasim was run out, no problem, the next guy will come and stand there.
So let me ask you a question.
It should be a run out plus the penalty. You know why you stop with the run out? I'm saying
JD
it
wants
JD sever his head also.
JD wants the batsman gone. Okay, Bishen, I have a question for you there. So when you're saying impose a penalty, right? Are you saying the penalty should be imposed only if there's an appeal, or do you think there should be a mechanism in place where the third umpire checks whether the batsman is doing this?
Yeah, I
because
think
some
third
people
umpire
have
should check.
suggested that.
Third umpire should check. Anyway, third umpire is checking every ball for a no ball. This happens literally 2 frames after the no ball happens. Complete the check over there. He's anyway checking every ball.
So you're saying you remove the onus from the bowler completely. You don't. I mean, the bowler need not stop in his tracks and run the batsman out, the non-strikers end. Just like you check for no balls, the third umpire checks and imposes the penalty, right?
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, because this also brings me to the point of when is it justified? What are the consequences of this rule being there? We've discussed this offline before, and you know broadly what my view is. I will explain it. When a bowler knows that a bowler can dismiss the batsman by running him out before he delivers the ball, right? If that is in the bowler's mind before he releases the ball, it is natural. And I think if you see some of the dismissals that have happened, even the Deepti
Deepti
Sharma
Sharma.
dismissal recently, the bowler's action changes slightly, right? When the bowler is delivering the bowler slows it down, and is the full momentum that the bowler normally has to release the ball is no longer there, because the bowler is not running up with the intent to bowl the ball. So that body momentum, arm speed is all not there. Now everything is much slower. It's unfair for you to expect the batsman to predict how the bowler is going to behave, because he or she is looking forward, the bowler's beside or behind him or her, right? So the batsman should not be penalized because this bowler has decided, now this ball I will have a new funky action where I come very slowly and rotate my arm very slowly. That's like deceiving the batsman. You don't deserve to dismiss the batsman for that.
But can't the bowler deceive the batsman, Bishen? I mean, in the sense, my follow-up to that.
Bowler bouncer, bowler yorker, deceive
No.
the batsman.
No, I'm saying deceive in the action itself. Because I remember, for example, I don't know whether you guys have seen this, but I remember, for example, Andre Russell coming in to bowl once.
Yeah.
You know, him just stopping. He just stops, slows down, acts like as if he's not going to bowl, and then just delivers the ball.
Absolutely.
I mean, the
bowler should feel free. I'm saying the non-striker must not be penalized for that. He should not be penalized for not foreseeing what this guy is going to do, and for that reason, again, if you want to penalize in terms of runs, that's okay. But for him, for not foreseeing the antics of Andre Russell to be dismissed, I think that's excessive.
Now Bishen will not like what I'm saying, because I've repeated this to him in an offline conversation. But my view always here is the non-striker shouldn't care about whether the bowler's action is fair or not. He just bloody well remain in his crease. Why is he ambling out? I mean, he has to be in the crease till the ball goes out to the batsman. Why is he bothered about how the bowler is bowling? The non-striker has no business, no?
The aim of the game is to face the bowler, hit the ball, and score runs, right? That's the broad principle of the game. Now, we cannot change the game to make the non-striker predict what the bowler will do and get randomly penalized for that.
But why is he not waiting?
No, he's waiting. I'm saying he should be inside his crease till the time the bowler is normally expected to release the ball. By the way, that's the language in the rule as well. His normal release point, right? He's expected to remain in the crease till his normal release point. Now, that the batsman must be.
Okay.
If the bowler does something funky, that the batsman is not expected to force it. That's not his job. That's not his game. Right? He can't be punished for that. So in that situation, so the bowler can bowl however he wants. He wants to bowl from 3 feet behind the crease, bowl from 3 feet behind the crease. If you want to come to the crease, stop, rotate your hand 2 times and bowl, please do that. But the non-striker can't be penalized for not foreseeing that he's going to rotate his hand 2 times. Because in his normal bowling action, the non-striker has waited and he has now stepped out. Even today's match, the last match today, which was the Zimbabwe-Bangladesh match towards the very end, right? The bowler pulled out of his action towards the end. And when the bowler pulled out, the batsman was outside. But if the bowler had bowled the ball, the batsman would have been inside at that point of time.
Yeah, of course. Right? I saw that.
So it just looks like the batsman is trying to take advantage, which he may not have been.
Sorry, JD, you were saying something when Bishen was.
No, I mean, see, I'm not really sure if you talk about, you use this word, the aim of the game is between the bat and the ball, right? Similarly, there are rules designed for this game, isn't it? And the rule is for the non-striker to stay in the crease. It is. I don't understand why is it so difficult for people to follow the rule. Because the people are not following the rule, that is why there comes a rule, sub-rule saying that that person can be run out. So if that person is not following the rule, right, then you are actually facing a penalty of getting out, plus add whatever runs that which is not there yet, but we might want to debate on it. But your question of the bowler is slowing up and so on, so because the bowler is noticing that the non-striker is taking an every single time, or at least 90% of the time, at least wherever I have seen, right, where the bowler stops and wants or gets the batter out, the batsman is eventually out of the crease. There's never been an instant, or there's very, very small percentage of instance where the bowler stops and the batsman is still, inside the crease, right? So the fielding, captain or the fielders, or in case, because it was proven that Deepti Sharma was closely watching the number of times, the person was, going out, right? So yes, it is pre-planned, and yes, probably they slow down, but they know for a fact that, they are being, in a lot of ways, a number of runs being taken against them I might even word, cheated actually, right? Because it's not fair. It is actually not fair.
No doubt it's not fair.
Yeah, so that is why I think if their intention, just like, they want to bowl a wide yorker or whatever, right? They might want to, slow down a little bit and take the chance and get them out. There's nothing wrong in it.
Yeah, see, but we can't make the rule for the situation when Deepti Sharma has watched the batsman 10 times and the 11th time, then it becomes fair. That's not how we make rules. We make rules to apply to all situations. If it's happening first ball of the match also, the rule will apply, right? So when we make rules, it has to apply across the board. When we make rules to apply, imagine bowlers coming in first ball of the match, right? The non-striker has played with this bowler hundreds of matches. But today, the bowler decides that before I bowl the ball, I'll rotate my arms 3 times extra. Is it fair on the batsman to expect that to happen and stay in the crease till then? Because you are playing for the momentum of the game, which you know it to be for so many years. You are not watching the bowler on the left side rotate his arm 3 times. You want to play fair. You don't want any advantage. You are getting out of the crease when you normally would have.
No, you get out of the crease when you've seen the ball actually going towards.
Absolutely.
You don't look behind, right? You don't look behind. You don't look at the side. Because you're looking straight to the batsman, right? Your partner. You can see the ball trajectory actually going out. Right? Then you start walking towards, or try to take a run. That's absolutely fine. Why do you have to premeditate? Okay, this person has got this sort of an action that comes at this particular speed, so I can actually start walking now. No, that's right.
I agree. That should not be and that's what, in fact, sorry, Bishen, but I think that's what Glenn Phillips was doing beautifully yesterday, where he like a sprinter, like a sprinter. He was he was crouching, and then the moment the ball is released, he takes off. I mean, it's a good lesson for anybody who's looking. I'm not saying everybody should crouch like a sprinter, but his approach to leaving when the ball leaves the bowler's hand, I thought is what most batsmen should do, like what JD said.
So I think this problem can be solved. See, there's a difference in view in that I don't think you should impose this onus on the non-striker to keep track of all the variations that a bowler is bringing out in his action and only run when the bowler is done doing his antics over there. The bowler can do his antics, but it's not my job to keep track of that, right? In my view, it's not my job as a non-striker. So I would say that the bowler should not be allowed to appeal for this at all. Like how batsmen don't appeal when a bowler commits a no ball, right? The umpire just gives the no ball. Even here, there should be no question of the bowler appealing when the batsman gets out. You bowl your ball, third umpire will watch it. If you are up the batsman outside the crease, the third umpire will either deem the batsman out or give the penalty runs or whatever it is. I don't think batsman should be out. Penalty runs. This way, there is no question of bowler trying to deceive the batsman, because that opportunity is not there at all. You have to only bowl the ball. Somebody else is going to watch if the batsman's in or out.
That's what. So in the example you're mentioning, also you're giving the umpire the onus to see if the bowler, like in your example, is actually being deceptive. So he'll have the third umpire will have to look at that also. Then the third umpire then has to look at, has the bowler changed his action, and is that the result? Is it the result of that the non-striker? So that element will again come into the umpire's decision as well, because the umpire will then have to see, okay, is the non-striker then all right to leave his ground, right?
No, I actually would not, because in this you could argue that the bowler is still trying to deceive the non-striker, but when that element is taken out of the bowler's control, knocking the stumps and appealing, right? I think the chance that the bowler is going to play to deceive the non-striker reduces. And on a cost-benefit kind of thing, we say that you no longer have this in your power. You cannot knock the stumps, you cannot appeal. I think the chances of the bowler deceiving non-striker will reduce. You can still mess with your action to deceive the striker, and to that extent, if the non-striker happens to be deceived in that process, too bad for him. But I think if you make this the rule, the bowler will stop targeting to deceive the non-striker and focus only on deceiving the striker.
See, I think Bishen, then to be really honest, right? If you look at the game of cricket, the umpire takes a decision only when the bowler or any of the fielders appeals, right? Even if somebody nicks, even if there's a genuine run out, if nobody appeals, the umpire never takes a decision, right?
Yeah.
Now, in your case, if the third umpire has, if we go with this particular rule that, third umpire needs to take a decision, then I'm sure there'll be a lot of arguments saying that, if somebody, edges the ball or, however it is, if nobody appeals, the third umpire can come and say, because it's going to take only a few seconds, third umpire can say, actually, you guys missed it. The batsman is actually out.
No,
the
this
batsman...
is my proposal, right? In my proposal, batsman won't be out. When third umpire, I don't want the batsman to be out. I want only minus runs.
He wants the penalizing. Yeah,
I want only minus runs here because I don't think out as a sanction is commensurate to the gravity of the misconduct, basically here.
See, that's why. See, the out decision is left to the bowler, whether the bowler wants to take an advantage of the batter leaving the crease, right? So if the third umpire, because I am with that, right? The third umpire can come in and say, minus 5, minus 10 or whatever. So the bowler also gets an idea that this person is trying to, leave the crease. So somewhere it will be neutralized that, the moment the minus 5, minus 10 happens, the batter will also not leave. The bowlers will also not be in a state of mind, okay, should I, take a chance? Will I be a villain and all of that, right? Everything, sort of neutralizes. Despite that, despite the, minus 5, minus 10, if somebody gets it, the bowler can still take a chance and get an out, right? So that's how I would, put it. Ultimately, the problem will solve if because your suggestion is very valid. If that happens, the problem will be solved, right? Because the moment they see that, the team is getting directed, runs, the team, when they speak in the team meeting or however, or the batter,
nobody will step out. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So the problem will be solved. They have said that it's a legitimate way to get out.
Right.
So it is the problem lies with, see, for example, before every ICC tournament and actually before even the IPL, the captains are got together. They are discussed, certain things that, you'll have to make sure, you follow X, Y, Z and all of that, right? So they sort of reiterate a number of things to avoid corruption, to avoid, they go through all of these courses, right? For that, to avoid all that match fixing problems. Same way, they should clearly say, see, I don't think so people should care about, players, retired players' opinion or fans' opinion on that. But at least the current players, right? If a thing like this happens, they should stick out and at least say that, it is fair and everybody should fall in line. I think, that sort of a message should go out so that at least, you will not get into this, nasty, difference of opinion for no reason. Right?
But I mean, at some level, JD, you can't prevent it. No, if let's say Stuart Broad says, I will never dismiss a batsman like this, what can you say to him? No, you must dismiss. You can't.
You must dismiss. At least, do not come out as a current player, right? Do not come out and say that, I will never do it, right? That is what is causing the problem. At least players should have that message saying that this is a legitimate dismissal. So fall in line, right? Do not come and say, I will never, because Moeen Ali also came and said that Josh Butler is coming and saying it. See,
Josh Butler, JD, Josh Butler is the funniest. He's got dismissed twice like this.
Yeah, he's got, I saw that one in the international match against Sri Lanka. Even I read about
it.
And there are groups like, Bamiyami and all, right? You should see, all the tweets that they actually, because whether we like it or not, with this entire social media thing, these people are becoming influencers. So their tweet can influence so many, other, cricketers as well, right? So it's not fair for, for current cricketers. Like I said, I can understand fans, but current cricketers should come out and support. If I was Mitchell Starc, I'll come and say what Deepthi has done right. If you don't support it, at least keep your mouth shut, right? Don't come and say I will never do it, or Mitchell Starc said that I am no Deepthi, right? I mean, the guy should be fined for it. That's again another racist.
What is that supposed to mean? He's changing it from a Mankad to a Deepthi now.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
the heck?
Somehow though, JD, I get what you're saying, but I'm not able to accept that fully. I mean, it's partly from being a lawyer and freedom of speech being important and all that as well. You have to be able to, a dissenting opinion is important. You cannot assert your authority over the entire cricketing world and say, you guys can't object to this. That sounds like a
I'm not
Saddam
saying
Hussein
the
kind of
entire
thing.
cricket world, right? I'm saying, see, like, for example, it's like I said, ICC gets in and says, be careful about the bookies and all of that, right? There's a reason why they do it. They're educating them, right? Same thing, these are the rules, right? I'm sure they know the rules, right? At least don't go against it. If you go against it, right, there has to be some sort of a penalty for that.
But that's
it's
like telling,
I know that
India,
I know that I cannot be approached by a bookie and all of that, but still, I go ahead and do
bookie thing
it.
is different. No, bookie thing is clearly, it is
illegal.
Law is a reflection of society, and society deems match fixing and activities like match fixing to be unethical and wrong, right? So that I don't think will get criticized. Whereas this, which is not a reflection of society, because there is debate on this point, right?
Who made it not a reflection? Who made it as a reflection of the society?
No,
Just
but that
because
is
someone
law.
in 1948 decided to say that this is against the spirit and we have cast that shadow over it. See, it is like, I remember there's this very famous, conversation that I had long back with someone. It's like, when a kid, when you're born, right, you show and say that, this is black. But let's say that you're born and I keep saying that, this is blue, this is blue. The child then thinks this is blue forever, right? That's the problem. Somebody from 1948 decided to say that this is not the form of discipline that we want in cricket. They kept saying it, and that is why the society is divided. But why should it be? See, we should change it, right? We should never be divided in the first place about it. You are actually,
Yeah, but that cannot be a forced action. For example, in society, society thinks murder is wrong, theft is wrong. Those are criminal offenses and nobody is objecting. But today, society is not clear, is marital rape wrong? Don't know. Is homosexual sex wrong? Don't know. Right? Society is not decided on these things. And therefore, these kind of laws still get debated. You cannot decide what society should think and should not think. Fact is, society thinks what they think. Why they think what they think and all, we can't bother. They think what they think. Right now,
I think JD just wants the spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood.
No, that's why I said, let society decide whatever they want, but at least the present cricketers, right? The teams that are playing, right? The current cricketers, only the present cricketers, at least they should be told that, you can get out, right? If somebody gets out, at least if you're not, in line with it, at least keep quiet. Right?
I just one last thing I'll say, which why I find it slightly problematic, in that when, let's say, Parliament makes laws, right? Parliament makes laws and it applies to entire country. It's almost like telling the country you cannot now object. But every day writ petitions are filed saying that so and so legislation is unconstitutional. You cannot tell public not to object. Right. Similarly, these cricketers didn't decide the law. If they decided the law, if they had, voted somebody into power who decided the law for, then you can say, nobody has asked these guys, what do you think the law should be taken consensus and all that. Right. Now, to say that we never asked you what you want, here, we're giving you one law, and now don't talk about it. I find that, slightly problematic.
Got it.
I guess, I think JD is just trying to stand up for the current players, but I think Bishen rightly says you cannot clamp down on individual voices. There will always be dissent.
Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you had fun watching this episode. We had fun bringing it to you. It was a fairly passionate, hotly discussed session as well. And if you did like it, as usual, please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and please put your comments in, guys. Please put your comments in.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.